George was a terrier. He was small, but he was strong. George had a big dream. He wanted to be the world's strongest dog. Every day, George thought about his dream. He pictured himself lifting heavy things. He imagined winning a big, shiny trophy. George was determined. George knew he had to work hard. He had to train every day. He was ready to become the world's strongest dog. George started his training early each morning. As the first rays of sunlight broke through the horizon, he was already up and ready to go. The crisp morning air filled his lungs, invigorating him for the challenges ahead. First, he would pull logs in the forest. The weight of the logs tested his strength, and each pull made him stronger. The forest was his gym, and the logs were his weights. He would dig his paws into the dirt and pull with all his might. The resistance of the earth against his paws was a challenge he relished. It was a test of his determination and willpower. Next, George would climb the highest hill. The steep incline was daunting, but he faced it head-on. Each step up the hill was a testament to his perseverance. He would scramble up the steep slopes, never giving up. The rugged terrain was no match for his determination. He knew that reaching the top was a victory in itself. The view from the top made him feel strong. Standing at the summit, he could see the world below, and it reminded him of how far he had come. In the afternoon, George chased squirrels. It was not just a game, it was a way to hone his reflexes and speed. The thrill of the chase kept him sharp and alert. He would dart and weave through the trees, building his speed and agility. The forest was his playground, and the trees were his obstacles. George never skipped a day of training. Consistency was key to his progress. Each day brought new challenges and new victories. He knew practice made perfect. Repetition was the path to mastery, and George was committed to becoming the best he could be. Finally, the big day arrived. It was the Grand Dog Strength Challenge. Dogs from all over had come to compete. There were big dogs and small dogs. There were fluffy dogs and sleek dogs. There was even a giant Great Dane named Titan. George felt a little nervous, but he remembered his dream. He was ready to show everyone what he was made of. Section 4, Tug of War Triumph. The first event was the tug of war, a test of strength and determination. George, a small but tenacious terrier, was up against a Doberman with powerful jaws and a fierce reputation. The Doberman pulled hard, using its size and strength to its advantage. But George dug his paws into the ground, refusing to give up. He pulled with all his might, every muscle in his body straining with effort. George thought about his dream of winning the competition and pulled even harder. His eyes filled with intense focus and determination. Finally, with a burst of energy and a final mighty tug, George pulled the rope across the line. The crowd erupted into cheers, their excitement palpable. George had won the first event, his heart swelling with pride and joy. He felt proud of his accomplishment, but he knew this was just the beginning. There were more challenges ahead, and George was ready to face them with the same determination and spirit. Section 5, Conquering the Obstacle Course. The next event was the obstacle course. George had to jump over hurdles, crawl through tunnels, and balance on beams. The course was tricky. George stumbled a few times, but he quickly got back up. He remembered his training and kept going. He wouldn't give up. Finally, George crossed the finish line. He had completed the obstacle course. He was one step closer to his dream. Section 6, a final test of strength. The last event was the strength pull, a true test of endurance and power. George, a small but mighty terrier, had to pull a heavy cart filled with weights. The cart was loaded with more weight than he had ever pulled before. It was the toughest challenge of all, a daunting task that would push him to his limits. George took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the challenge ahead. He dug his paws into the ground, ready to give it his all. He pulled and pulled with all his might, but the cart wouldn't budge. The weight seemed insurmountable. He closed his eyes, picturing his dream of victory. He imagined the cheers of the crowd and the feeling of triumph. With one final burst of energy, George pulled the cart forward. He had done it! The crowd erupted in applause as he crossed the finish line. He had won the Grand Dog Strength Challenge. The trophy was his, a symbol of his hard work and determination. George was now recognized as the strongest dog in the land. His small stature had not held him back. He had achieved his dream, proving to himself and others that anything is possible with enough heart. George had shown everyone that size doesn't matter. What truly counts is the spirit and determination within. What matters is heart and determination. George's journey was a testament to the power of perseverance and the strength of the spirit. As the crowd cheered and celebrated his victory, George knew that this was just the beginning. His story would inspire many others to chase their dreams, no matter the odds. With his eyes set on new challenges, George was ready to take on whatever came next. His heart was full and his spirit unbreakable.